Okay.
We're live.
Live with you guys.
Okay, good deal. I'm going to get this started. Go. All right, so it looks like, if I bounce over, this week we are please discuss with your group members situations in which you have employed the various sources of power and influence referenced by Hackman and Johnson. Work to tie those experiences to your role as a leader or as a follower. Finally, discuss ways in which cultural difference may influence the way we interact with leaders and employ power.
Okay, so looks like the first part of the question ties into chapter 5. For me, thinking of that question, I think reward power stands out most. In my last job experience, I was assisting a real estate agent. In terms of reward power, I was basically given a bonus to help her with her clients. So basically, when she sold a home, when she listed a home, helped a buyer obtain a home, and we closed escrow, I would get a bonus on that transaction. And I think with that kept me motivated in terms of, because she could do different volume on any, weekly, monthly basis. In the Bay Area, it's been pretty hot out here. So at times we're helping, multiple clients. I was given a base salary, but the bonuses helped me to stay motivated when, 1 month maybe there were 3 clients, on another month there were 10 clients, knowing that because the workload would change, I would still be compensated for that. So reward power in that sense really helped me out. In terms of leadership follower relationship, she would be the leader, giving me the reward. As a follower, like I said, I would be more motivated to help her with those clients and provide good customer service and whatnot.
So what I kind of picked that I employed was expert power. I've been with the company for 9 years, so everything for me comes really easy. And I've noticed that, especially as a follower, like my other partners are coming to me because I'm not a leader, and they feel more comfortable coming to me. They know too that if they do ask me a question and I don't know what the answer is, that I know where to find it. And that's all I have for expert power.
I agree with you, Ashley. I think when you mention like the length of your tenure at the company,
yeah,
many of the jobs I've been at, when I've been there for a lengthy amount of time, you kind of understand everything. You're quick to know answers when other employees ask you, or to help out. You kind of really become an expert in the position you're in.
Well, I know it's
great.
Yeah, I know at Starbucks too. Like when you work in one of the stores, when you go through supervisors like crazy, and so when you know that there's that certain partner there that is knowledgeable and has that time behind them, a lot of partners tend to gravitate towards them.
Okay. For me, the coercive power stood out the most. Growing up, my mom, I like the example in the book that if you do this, you'll get grounded for this. But my mom came off always as a strict person, but then if I were to do something bad, which I hardly did, she didn't have any repercussions. So I felt like there was no line of standards with her. But now I know as a follower that that's not the way to be. But in my follower role now, I feel like the information power stands out most to me. Being that I was a manager and a shift, but now I'm just a barista, I find a lot of the shifts coming to me asking me like, hey, what would you do in this situation? But I don't want to tell them what to do, but I'm offering my suggestion to them in a way. But those are the two that stand out to me the most.
I was wondering if you were going to bring up coercive power. I was thinking about you and your daughter, and I was like, I don't know if she'll bring those up. I think for me, the one that stood out the most was the referent power, that role model power. I know that in my position with the company that's the one that I would prefer to have out of any of the others. I would want someone to believe that I had power because I was being a for them, not just because of my position as in legitimate power. I mean, I know that if I ask somebody to take out the trash, it's probably going to be because of legitimate power, not because they favor me as a role model. But that was the one that I thought stood out the most. And I think we actually discussed all of them except for
the ecological one was
information, I think.
Yeah, and I think it said that arises out of control over the physical environment, technology, and how work is organized. So that's if somebody's going to enter in a new software system or an assembly line setup or that kind of a thing. Good deal. We also are supposed to discuss the cultural diversity portion, but I think there was something in the question about the influence.
Yeah, that it says for the power which you have employed the various sources of power and influenced referenced by Hackman and Johnson.
Or the way we interact and employ power?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys got through the part in the chapter where it talked about powerful talk versus powerless talk. Mm-hmm. The powerless talk thing, I don't know if you guys have done a speech class before and had to record it, but those hesitations, those ums and ahs, they pop out so much, I think, when I watch videos that I've done in the past.
Yeah, I think ways to, I haven't really read over that portion, but ways to overcome that is just kind of going in with confidence about what you're speaking about.
Well, I know for me, just being here in Mexico and seeing the culture differences between the workers here, and if I were to go in the same environment in the U.S., it's totally different. People here are so genuinely nice. They love their job, and you can tell that the hotels really cater to them. Our hotel, a lot of the employees had to stay overnight just to make sure in case we had to evacuate for the hurricane. And they were allowed to bring their families and stay in the hotels just to make sure that they were safe.
Oh, wow.
But the level of satisfaction is unreal here.
Oh, wow, that's really neat to be able to see.
Yeah.
And there was a really good section in the chapter on the benefits of diversity when it comes to cultural differences. And there's a whole list of stuff on page 313, it looks like. It talks about cost savings and how having a diverse work team, or just team in general, helps to reduce absenteeism and turnover rates because there's more going on. And then there's resources and acquisition and utilization. There's a bunch of stuff on there. Greater innovation, higher performance, all the benefits that are there for having a really diverse team. I know that in the area that I work in northern Idaho, it's not as diverse up here at all, but we definitely do try and bring on different people that are either really great with customer service or salesmanship or that are creative. So you just don't have the same cookie cutter person for every single role.
Yeah. I know that at my store right now, I'd have to say that we're not very diverse, and it's actually quite hard for me because I really like stores that have all sorts of different levels of, experience and stuff, and our store right now is full of new partners, and they're all from high school, they're all young girls, and they all seem to act in a similar way, and so it's really hard for me because I was not the typical girl in high school. I was not into the makeup and the way they talked and stuff, so I actually have a really hard time sometimes interacting with them because I don't know what I'm supposed to say, what they're saying, and the context or the meaning behind their context. It's been a challenge.
Would you categorize that kind of into a high context, low context type thing that we learned about, where
I would
kind of in a different sense, but relating it to those?
Yeah, because I think he gave an example of like Germany where they speak a lot, but you have to really kind of dig deep to find that the meaning behind it. And that's kind of where I feel like I'm at with these girls, because I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to get at. Can you be like Japan and just say it?
Yeah, actually, I feel like I'm the opposite. Our store, like, everyone has been there more than 2 years. We all know, like, we all kind of know what to expect from each other. So if you're having an off day, we can catch on real quickly. But as far as diversity, there's not much diversity. So, and we
That's
live in
crazy. How many partners are in your store?
I'm sorry?
How many people are on your team?
There's 25.
Holy moly, that's a lot of tenure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We only have 12.
Oh, wow.
The entire store, yeah. We're a drive-through only, so we're made out of 2 containers.
Oh.
So we're tiny.
All
right, we have about another minute.
I'll touch on something really quick. The masculinity, femininity, cultural, I don't know what those are called, cultural, I guess, what are all those little things called? I guess the differences. For me, kind of pointing.
Programmed value patterns, it looks like.
Yeah. So this is the third dimension, looks at roles assigned and sexes. There's a lot of people from India who've come out to the Bay Area. When I tour homes with the company I'm currently with, we tend to go out with a lot of Indian couples. And some, I could tell kind of the masculinity, femininity difference. In their culture, it seems as if the male is more assertive and outspoken and making the decisions for the family, and the wife is a little more reserved and held back. And you can tell those differences when walking and touring with a couple. So in those cases, it seems when you recognize that, you kind of more so aim towards the husband when speaking, just to kind of, because he's the one making decisions and kind of more outspoken. You don't get a lot of feedback from the wife. So in dealing with different cultures, I think that's something that we've had to adjust to in situations like that and in my job background.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I imagine I would probably end up going towards the woman being a female, but if that's,
yeah,
that would make her uncomfortable probably.
Yeah, exactly. For me, from a female perspective too, it's kind of, you kind of vibe closer with the female clients, but in those cases, it, you know, the male's kind of hovering over and wanting to know all the details and whatnot, so you kind of veer off. So just making adjustments in that sense and knowing how to approach people and talk to people.
Good deal. All right, we're at 13 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. I will talk to you guys next week.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Bye. Travel safe, Alicia.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.